Recently, we took this 2013 BMW 320d Coupe in as a part exchange, and it's a car we usually wouldn't touch as it's a tad on the older side. However, it was in such good condition that we found it hard to say no. Also, I really wanted to review it. So here we are. I'm going to see what a 10-year-old BMW 320 diesel has to offer, and whether you should consider buying one. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. We're on TikTok, so if you want to see weekly updates, behind the scenes footage, and some funny stuff, click the link in the description below to follow us now. Now, if I said the words, I'm going to finance a used BMW Coupe, I'm guessing the first thing you'd say is...
No, God! No, God, please, no!
However, the engine in this 2013 BMW 320d is known for being fairly reliable. As long as you service it, that is. Pre-2011 though, this engine was known to have some timing chain issues, e.g. they'd snap and pistons would meet valves to live happily ever after. After 2011, this issue was said to be resolved, but if you're thinking of buying one, be sure to check if it's had the engine oil changed on time, every time, and that the correct oil was used. Anyway, as long as it's got a good service history, then it's a pretty good power unit actually. It makes 184 horsepower and 380 Nm of torque. Plenty for daily driving, but how does it stack up in the 30 to 70 sprint? Let's find out. Well, with a time of 7.54 seconds, it's really pretty good, I'd say. The only thing letting it down is the ZF 6-speed box. Very reliable, but not the most efficient by modern standards. Inside the BMW 320d is a dated but very well laid out interior. The iDrive is actually still decent even by modern standards though. It's responsive and has Bluetooth audio, so I can't complain there. The cup holders are funky, but unfortunately very easy to break, so just be careful with those. Then in terms of storage, over the glove box you get a little cubby next to the driver and some flip-out door cards, which whilst cool, aren't actually all that useful. Moving to the back, you've got enough room for kids and just enough room for adults as long as it's a short journey. Myself, I could do about 30 to 45 minutes back here before I'd want out. Then the boot, it's got 440 litres of capacity, which is actually very good for a coupe. To put it in perspective, the class-leading Audi A5 only has 450. You can even fold the seats down to get longer items in, and there's no load lip either. All round, I'd say that's pretty decent. Right, let's get on the road as I'm quite interested to see how this thing drives. I still can't believe this car is 10 years old. In fact, it's over 10 years old. I mean, looking at the interior, you just wouldn't know. It looks almost brand new. Anyway, what's this 3 Series like to drive around town? Well, this has a body kit on it, so I have to be careful over bumps, otherwise it scrapes. But suspension feels like regular M Sport suspension still. No crashing, no squeaking. Only squeaking I'm noticing is a little bit coming from the seats, but it's nothing major. New cars do that even. Steering is, well, a lot heavier than newer systems, but it's not the end of the world. In terms of feel, it's not bad though. Yeah, you can hear it scraping there. You just have to go very, very slowly basically. But throttle pedal and brake pedal, still very easy to modulate, very easy to predict. The only thing I don't like about these older BMWs is this like weird indicator stalk. Basically you push it down and it automatically returns to like a central position, and then like sometimes doesn't cancel itself, and it's just a bit weird. But so far, very comfortable, very quiet, very smooth. Gearbox, absolutely fine. Already this is seeming like a bit of a bargain, I have to say. Like, even going over bumps, there's just nothing. It's crazy. For a 10-year-old car, this feels almost brand new, to be honest. And steering wheel, I mean, functionally a lot better than the standard one. Visually, I don't know. It's just a little bit naff for me. But it does feel nice to hold, I have to say. Oh, it's just got such a nice balance to it. Right then, in terms of parking, this particular car, I believe, just has parking sensors, and that's absolutely fine. As visibility is pretty good. Being a coupe, the beeper is nice and far back. You got plenty of steering lock. Only thing I'm noticing is the wing mirrors could be a little bit bigger, but not the end of the world. Parking sensors are nice and accurate, so getting into a space is pretty easy. And because this is a slightly older car, it's just a little bit less wide than the newer stuff, which means when you want to get out, you've still got vast amounts of room in your lane, which is pretty nice. Even the aircon still works, which is nice. Usually everything after about 6 years, the aircon stops working. I think that's because people don't know they actually need to service them. Oh, this is nice to drive. And you know what, the heavy steering, I'm already getting used to it. It's nowhere near as bad as I thought. Coming out of junctions, half throttle. Look at that. Performance is strong. God, these do drive so nicely, actually. Even though this is their early, electronically assisted steering or power steering. I think it's electronic power steering, EPS. Someone might be able to correct me. But it's just bang on. Absolutely bang on. I'd love to have a go in an E92 M3 and see what that's like, because that's actually got a hydraulic steering rack. Feel the camber on the wheels, you can feel bits of the road surface. Oh, it's lovely. It just wafts. Right, let's not get carried away. Reset our MPG and see what we can do on the motorway. We might actually be able to get above 50 miles per gallon out of this thing, which I'd be pretty happy with, actually. Before we do that though, let's get the traction control off. Have a little bit of fun. Okay, no such thing as sports mode really, but I'm going to put the gearbox into its sportier setting, and then we do have a traction control button, which if I press should turn things off. Yep, there we go. And I'm going to leave the gearbox just in the sports setting. I'm not going to take control of the gears manually. I just want to see how quick it can react. Obviously it's going to be slower than the newer ZF8 speed, but let's just see. Okay, foot down, bit of wheel spin, nice. Oh, very neutral chassis. And look at that. Still got plenty of punch. And the gearbox is pretty good. It's not got that like rapid sort of zippy change that the ZF8 speed has. But do you know what? It's smooth and it's quick enough that you're not waiting for gears too long. This is really nice. This is really, really nice, guys. Right, into drive, traction back on. Yeah, back on. Let's get on the motorway and munch some miles. Okay, coming onto the motorway then. Nice and smooth. It just got that lovely wave of torque from the diesel engine. That's where they're very good. Visibility on the motorway is pretty good. Wing mirrors could be better though. Let's just see what the response is like if I slow down. Okay, so down to 50 miles an hour and just full throttle. Not bad. About half a second slower than a newer car, but it's not slow by any means. Road and wind noise are surprisingly low actually. Not really any different from an F80 series, 3 series. Get the cruise control on. Yeah. This is nice. Very nice actually. Right. 20 miles on the motorway. I'll I'll see you in a bit and see what kind of MPG we have. Well, we didn't quite manage 50 mpg, however, 47.8 miles per gallon in a bit of traffic, going from 60 to 70, you know, braking, accelerating. That is really decent, so there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to get 50 mpg on a slightly longer run. I mean, look, it's still going up, it's at 48.7 now. That is decent, really. I was afraid that the ZF 6-speed would be, you know, a little bit too inefficient on the motorway, but it seems to be pretty decent to me. Anyway, let's see how quickly it responds and get this thing on a B road. Okay, I'm in manual, traction is off. Let's see what this 3 Series is like. It's got lovely pulling power from low down. I'm going to go around this roundabout in 3rd gear and just show you what I mean. Suspension is nice, not too stiff, but stiff enough to control the body. Oh, yes. And then the pulling power. Hear the tyres going. Those are the rear tyres as well, by the way. And it just has this lovely amount of torque throughout the whole rev range. And whilst the draggy time is not the fastest, I mean, it's really not that slow for a 10-year-old 2-litre diesel. It feels nice. Alright, brake check. Brakes are still pretty good. Not the sharpest in the world, but not the dullest either. It's just the steering and everything just feels so nicely connected. Seat holds me in my place well. Just a fantastic handling car. You can feel in their newer cars the suspension's definitely a little bit stiffer. And I can see why they've done that. It just gives you a tiny bit more control. Like this, you're being a little bit more patient with it, but I'm splitting hairs, really. It's still a fantastic chassis. Oh, what a fantastic little car. Oh, brilliant. I mean, to be able to do that in your bog spec 3 Series, well, 320DM Sport, so like middle of the range, but fairly unpotent engine. It's just fantastic. Absolutely mega bit of kit. The response from this engine is really good as well, actually. It has a really nice punch to it. As soon as you hit 1800 revs, it's just pulls like a freaking train. It's the way they've mapped it, because it makes it feel much quicker than it actually is. But back to the chassis, you can be so precise with it. You're not doing that wheel wiggling to try and guess where the front wheels are. You just know. That's what I love about BMWs. You know, if you give me the same apex on the same corner, I will be able to hit that every single time. I don't know if you guys remember, but I'm pretty sure Top Gear actually did a test a while ago. Well, this is going back years now. Where they had a BMW M3, I think. And, you know, Richard Hammond was able to hit the apex or hit an apple on the apex every single time. and Jeremy was trying to hit it in, I think, an AMG or something, and he just couldn't hit it, basically. But that's what I mean. You can just hit exactly on the millimetre where you want on the road with these things. And that's why they're so approachable. You know, a new driver can get into this, turn the traction control off, and they would be totally fine. And if things do get a little bit out of control, you've still got the stability control there to help you out. Of course, you can turn that all the way off, but to have a bit of fun, you don't need to. Oh, what a cracking machine. For the money, it's hard to beat. It really is hard to beat. As long as you find one that's been well looked after, I think, then, you know, that's the one downside to these older BMWs. If one hasn't been looked after properly, then it's just repair bill after repair bill after repair bill. But one like this, it's hard to beat, honestly. It's just got such a nice torque band. Just like even in fourth gear, so in fourth gear from 30 miles an hour, you just put your foot down, and it's just this instant wave of torque. Right, let's take it to a Little B road. Okay, down our Little B road. It's just got lovely amounts of power. Not slow at all. And the throttle response for a diesel is magnificent, especially for an older one. Suspension still deals with the bumps really well. You can see the amount of speed we can carry down here. Typical though, isn't it? You get stuck behind the world's slowest driver. This makes me want to drive like a BMW driver now. Gearbox, shifts gears quick enough. I'm not sort of asking for a gear then having to hit the paddle again. That's the only time that gearboxes that are too slow annoy me. And this is doing fine. Look at that, ask for a gear, give me a gear. Really not that bad. Okay, I'm not going to brake boost it, I'm just going to put my foot down from 0 and see if we can get to 60 before the corner. Just bit of ABS there. So yeah, not that slow. Suspension is just so good on these things. But I can see they definitely made it a little bit stiffer in the newer cars. I don't think they really needed to though. I think for UK roads this is about right. It has a really good balance to it. It means when you go over bigger undulations you're never leaving the ground completely. I think as the roads in Germany are a bit smoother, they could obviously stiffen the suspension up a bit. But just the precision of everything for a 10-year-old car. That I can just ride the corner of the road all the way down here. Like bump there just deals with it. Up here just deals with it. It's just... Steering is nice and precise, brakes are still working well. No understeer coming over there. That's usually where you get understeer because you're going over a bump as well and it's a bit off camber. Hard on the brakes again. It just works. Honestly, fantastic bit of kit. Even after all that driving, 39.7 mpg as well. Can't complain about that. I mean, wow. That's the thing. Look after these BMWs, man, and they look after you. Obviously, people hear of like maintenance nightmares, but do you know what? I think a lot of it comes about because people don't service them properly, or they just don't know what they're doing. Obviously, you know, things like the N54 and N55 petrol engines did have their problems. But, you know, it's people that are buying cars that have done 80,000 miles, and then the previous owner just hasn't done their due diligence of, you know, preventative maintenance. But this, I mean, how many miles is this one now? This is on 88,000 miles, shall we say, and still driving like it was when it was new. So it just goes to show, if you look after them, they'll look after you. It's as simple as that. What a fantastic bit of kit. Anyway, as always, if you enjoyed this review, give it a like, and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale. My name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.